Okay, what's going on YouTube on this fine Saturday? It's your girl Fish Grease, and I'm coming at you um with a sort of a follow-up to the last video, relationship or nah. And the reason why I'm following it up is because it's an interesting conversation to have. It's an interesting topic to cover, I think. Because there are one or two layers to it. Um, and I sort of want to talk about why it is important to define relationship statuses, specifically for women. It's important to us. And the reason why it's important to us, or it should be important to us, is that unlike men whose feelings are not attached to the act of sex, women's feelings are attached to the act of sex. Okay? Our feelings are attached to kitty. I said that. Okay? And what that means, it is difficult for a woman to have sex with a man, especially more than one time with that same man. It is extremely difficult, nigh to impossible, for us to do that and not develop any feelings whatsoever to that man. Women who do that are typically prostitutes, and they have been able to, for whatever reason or whatever has experiences has taught them how to separate the act of sex from the feeling of attachment, love, affection, those types of things. Okay, basically it taught her how to operate sexually like a man. Women don't operate sexually like men. We do not. No matter what we say or what we try to do, like I said, there's very few women who are actually able to pull that off. The rest of us, we're stuck in our nature. It is our nature to attach, like I said, the feelings of attachment, love, even affection, possession. Yes, possession. You are ours. We are yours. That kind of thing. To the act of sex. That is simply the way we are built. There isn't any ifs, ands, buts. There's no changing it. There's nothing you can do about that. And so because we do that, ladies, because that is our default, it becomes important to define the nature of the interaction that you are having with one man or a couple of men or however it is, okay? Because that is why I said sex does not make relationships. Just because he is sexing you, maybe on a regular basis, it might be irregular, it might be once every whatever, that does not make you in a relationship, even if it feels like you should be in a relationship. The fatal mistake that women tend to make is thinking that men are viewing it the way that you are. He is not. He does not. For men, the act of sex can be very separate from his emotional state and his emotional connection or lack thereof of the woman that he is sleeping with. Okay? It is a separate issue for him. Now, that is not saying that he cannot love the woman that he's having sex with. Of course he can. Of course he can. Because if he loves her, he wants to have sex with her. Okay, that's part of the expression of it. Okay? But it is possible for him, very possible for him, to have sex with women that he does not have or has very little emotional attachment to. It can be a very purely physical act for him. Ladies, we don't have that. It's difficult for us to get to that point. Okay? Very, very difficult. So, because of that, we have to define it, because this is where a lot of bitterness comes from. Us being bitter, being angry, being mad at men, and men play us and their dogs, and they don't want anything but pussy from you, and they don't care about, who you are, and they don't care about, you know, uh, having a relationship with you, and they don't care about your heart. See, this is one of the problems with having the society that we have now, where it's okay for women to sleep with a bunch of guys. We have this thing where she's free to do it, and it's her body, and and we're socialized into it. But there's a reason why that has not been the social contract up until maybe about 50, 60 years ago. There's a reason for that, because we attach so much to the act of sex, the act of giving a man access to you in the most intimate way that you can, access to your actual womb, where he has the potential to be recreated. That's heavy to us. To us. Okay? It only become heavy to him when he views you as his woman, his wife. Then those things become important to him as well, because he doesn't want you giving access to other men for that very reason. Okay? As long as he's not viewing you as his, it doesn't matter to him. But once you cross the threshold into an actual committed relationship, then all of that comes to bear for him, because he does not want, and he doesn't want you giving that away. And the underlying biological imperative to that is that he doesn't want you recreating another man's lineage through you that is not him. That has mainly been the purpose of marriage, especially for men. It's a deal. Women and children get taken care of. Men get to produce their legacy through a stable environment with a woman who is obligated to only produce his lineage and not anyone else's. Okay? She becomes obligated to this. This is why men, it's rare for a man, if you're married to him and you cheat, it is rare for him to take you back, because especially if you had a kid with somebody else. It's like, oh, now I'm not the only one you give lineage to, although I married you. So that breaks it. It's not a lot of guys that I know of that take women back under those circumstances. It's like, no, I can't go back. We can't. This will never be the same. This will never be the same. I'll never feel the same about you. I won't react the same to you. This is a done deal. That's a deal breaker. So it's important that it's defined so that the expectation can be set properly. For example, if you are in just a situation where this guy come around once and again and y'all have fun and y'all have sex, but it's not really nothing more than that. The expectation there is that I'm only having sex with this guy. As a woman, you don't have the right to then try to question who else he might be having sex with, or whatever, because you did not enter into a relationship with him that dictated those types of rights. Okay? Versus you getting into a marriage, now you have other expectations. Now I have a right to expect that I am not being betrayed. He has the same right. So the different relationship definitions actually serve to set the expectation of whether or not you have any rights, real rights in this situation or not. The only right that you have in a situation where you just kind of fucking around is to stop fucking around. That's your right, to stop. You got a right to stop. Okay? So getting into your feelings in a situation where that was not warranted hurts you, ladies. It hurts you. You're the one that gets mixed up because you are attaching, because you can't help it, you're attaching feelings, other feelings, to the act of sex with this man, especially if you like him, and especially if you like him more than he likes you. Okay, this is even and more especially so if you like other qualities beyond his sex. But on the flip side, he might not like your qualities beyond sex, which is why he doesn't pursue a full-on relationship with you. Or he just may not be interested in doing that. So the defining of it actually helps protect you from getting butthurt, getting in your feelings, getting mad at him because you assumed that this was something that it wasn't. And sometimes it's because he's not being very clear. Okay, there's dishonesty happening, likely from both sides. Okay, he's being disingenuous about it because he's not telling you you're in a relationship. He's not even really acting like you in a relationship, but he's doing just enough to hopefully ensure that you will keep sleeping with him. So he don't want to be too harsh to say, nah, bitch, fuck you, I ain't in a relationship with you, because you will cut the kitty off. You see what I'm saying? And he don't necessarily want you to do that. He not ready for you to do that. He not ready to move on to the next female, or he might like yours. You got some good kitty, and he like dipping back in that well. He may have some other women he deal with, but he like yours. So he'll waffle, he'll ride the fence a little bit, just enough to keep it going. He not ready for you to pull back. So, he won't be completely honest with the fact that he doesn't see any value in you beyond this. But this is where you have to have your discernment, women. You have to be able to see the clue and catch a hint. Okay? You have to. It's called reading the room and getting the message. Okay? That's what that's called. If he don't talk to you, he doesn't interact with you, he don't take you nowhere, he don't introduce you to nobody, he don't tell nobody about you, you are the side piece and or fuck piece. Only. And you have no other place in his life or in his world. And if you're okay with that, then you have to actually be okay with that. That meaning you can't have all these other feelings like he's supposed to be giving you more than what has been transacted or what has been agreed upon. If you're not okay with that, you have to have the strength to walk away from that situation. And a lot of times, ladies, your walk away game is weak. You can't walk off from that nigga because you don't want to take the L. You don't want to seem like you lost out or, or whatever. But that is irrelevant, to be completely honest with you. It's irrelevant. You have to have walk away game. You got to be willing to be without that nigga. Really. If you want to have your dignity and you're not okay with these little situationships and these little, whatever little situation you find yourself in, you're not okay, and you only want to be the wife, the first thing that you have to do is you have to present yourself that way. You have to present yourself that this is who I am. I am wife material. I'm not your fuck piece. I'm not just a bitch you come slam at 2 o'clock in the morning. No, 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 no. This is not how this is gonna go. You have to do that from the beginning and accept the possibility that the guy you want will walk off. Okay? Let me repeat that. If you have standards, and I'm not talking about them impossible, stupid ass standards. I'm talking about you are presenting yourself and carrying yourself like a wife, where you're not just giving away pussy like, like a soup kitchen. Okay, just line them up and they can get some pussy. No. There's effort to be made. There's a relationship you have to have with me. A real one. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for a real actual relationship that leads to marriage, because that's who I am. That's who I'm presenting myself as. You have to be ready for basically kind of being by yourself a little bit, because it's a lot of dudes out there that's not looking for that. He only wants a pussy, and if you're not giving it up within a 24 to 48 hour period, he will walk off. But you have to be able to accept that. That can't always be a L in your mind, because if you're carrying yourself as a wife because that's what you want to be, then any dude that's not ready to deal with that doesn't actually waste your time, you actually should be thankful about that, because he already know I'm not even trying to deal with no woman on that level right now. So I'm not even gonna really fool with her. You know what I'm saying? He might text you 1 or 2 times, call you 1 or 2 times, but it's like, she not really on that. That's not always a diss to you. Fuck that bitch. And he not always necessarily thinking that. It's just like, well, she just not. I like her. She look good. I want to smash. But she on some relationship building stuff, and I'm not in that space right now. And that's okay. That is perfectly fine. Okay? But ladies, your walk away game got to be strong. You have to be willing to walk off, and you have to be willing to accept that he might walk off as well. Okay? Take it from the walk off queen. We'll walk the hell off. My standards were my standards. And if a dude didn't want to deal with him, he didn't have to. I didn't shame him into it. I didn't talk about him. You know what I'm saying? All that motherfucker ain't no good. I didn't say nothing. If he didn't want to deal with my standards, he was free to not do that and move on to the next female, which he did. They did. They did exactly that. And you hunch your shoulders and say, oh well, Another one bites the dust. He was cute. He had potential. You know what I'm saying? I kind of liked the guy. I didn't want him to walk off, but then again, I wasn't willing to sell myself short because I knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? I know that I bring more to the table than my ass. I know that. You know what I'm saying? And so even though I wasn't in the fullness of my womanhood, because you can't be really at 17, 18, 19. You're too young. But I had enough of it to realize that, you know what I'm saying, I'm more than ass. The brain I got in my head, it's a whip. It's a whip. I bring a lot. I'm creative. I'm intelligent. I bring a lot. I can help with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Two heads is definitely better than one when I'm one of the heads. I'm definitely the capable co-pilot. I'm gonna get in that plane. I'm gonna fly that damn thing. You don't have to worry about me. So if you know what kind of woman you are, you have to act according to that. You know what I'm saying? You can't guilt men into getting into relationships with you and argue with him about it and try to see why he don't love you or why he don't feel the same way about you that you feel about him, and all of these types of things. We have to be in more control of our feelings, ladies, because we do have a lot going on emotionally, and if we're not in control of those things, then it'll drive us crazy. We'll literally be crazy out here in these streets. And it's a lot of you that are crazy. Anytime that man walk off, you bust his tires. And, I know the dick might be good, but you don't went off the deep end. Cause you should not be in such a emotionally unstable situation where I don't give a fuck what kind of dick he got. Shouldn't be driving you crazy. You were emotionally unstable before that. Okay? You were unstable before. And you need some type of therapy because something happened to you. You probably had, abandonment issues, rape issues, because we as black women, we got a lot of issues, that need to be fixed before we even think about inviting some man permanently in our space. But that's another video. So this is like more than 20 minutes. So I'm going to cut this short. I might revisit it because this is seeming like there's some layers to peel back here. But definitely defining the relationship is important for women, especially so that you can understand what the expectations are and what they are not. What you have a right to do and what you do not have a right to do. How much of your feelings should be invested in it and how much should not be invested. You get into trouble when you invest your feelings in situations and in people that are not even looking for you to do that. Okay, and this comes on, you having to understand your womanhood and his manhood and how men really operate in this world. It's not, men do not operate how TV say they should. They don't. That socialization that they do to men is very surface. Because men who aren't like simps and dumbasses, they don't actually operate like that. They operate very differently. And you have to come to terms with that. And then you have to be okay with it. And then you have to operate accordingly to it. Okay? All right. Talk to you later.